This is the School Success Podcast, a podcast for school leaders to learn from other school leaders what's working and what's not, and to get inspiration and encouragement, as well as strategies to grow school enrollment, connect with families, retain teachers, recruit teachers, and everything in between. You guys are heroes, and I cannot thank you enough for pouring into this next generation that's coming behind us. My goal is you will take at least one thing away from every episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Please enjoy the School Success Podcast. Hey, school success makers. Today we're joined by my new friend Mark at a beautiful Southern California. He's the principal at his Christian school there, and we dive into their school, what's working, what's not, and more. So stay tuned for the next episode of the School Success Podcast. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater. I'm joined by a new friend, Mark, at a beautiful California, and he is the principal of Faithful Ambassadors Bible Baptist Academy there in California, right below San Diego. So obviously, he lives in a beautiful spot there in National City, California. And I'm going to pass it off to him because I don't want to take any away of his thunder. But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So
I'm glad to be here.
I would love to hear what you like to do for fun there in San Diego. What's there to do? I mean, obviously, you got the beach, you got tons of different things to do. But what's some of your favorite things to do?
Favorite things to do? Well, if we go with my family, my wife, my two kids, we go to SeaWorld. If we can find like a good discount, go to the San Diego Zoo and go to the beach sometimes when it's perfect weather. And that's pretty much the fun things that I could think of at San Diego.
Okay. Well, I know it's a beautiful city, lots to do. I have been to the San Diego Zoo before. It's ginormous. We didn't even get to do everything when we were there one time. So that is awesome. So tell me, how long have you been at your school currently?
I've been at my school since July 2007. So I'll be finishing my 15th year at Faithful Ambassadors Bible Baptist Academy.
Wow. Have you always been principal? Kind of how'd you get started there? How'd you get involved at the school?
I started as a teacher, and I teach for the high school math and science, chemistry, physics, algebra 2 back when I first started. And then I kept working as a teacher until 2016. That's when they asked me to be the school principal. So I ended up being there till now.
Wow, man, you've been there a while. So I love that. So obviously you must like it. You must love the community and the people that you get to work beside and all the kiddos. So I love that. I would love to hear some more of the history of the school. I obviously know you guys are attached to a church, and I did some reading up on your history from the church's website and the school's website. But if you could, for the listeners, to kind of give a little bit of background on how the school got started, what's the sponsoring church that's a part of you guys?
All right, the school got started because our pastor had a vision to help our church members to have a Christian learning environment. So we started that first year. It was back in 1996, August. We had about 70 students, and the curriculum we used was called Accelerated Christian Education, ACE curriculum. And it's basically, you have your own booklets and you complete those booklets, and that's how you complete each subject. And we have people monitoring, supervisors and monitoring to make sure that they know how to do it and they're doing it correctly. And fast forward to now we're basically using multiple curriculums. We're using Abeka for the elementary, for basically kindergarten all the way to 7th and 8th grade, actually kindergarten to 7th and 8th grade, so elementary and junior high. And then for high school, we just switched to Bob Jones University curriculum. So we're really moving forward for getting a quality Christian education.
Okay. I love it. I'm very familiar with Bob Jones. I took some of their stuff actually growing up when I was homeschooled, and we did some online training or teaching. I know that university because it's over on the East Coast, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, how big is the school currently with amount of enrollment? And are you guys have a wait list and or are you guys looking to grow? Kind of what's that look like of the structure of the school?
Yes, sir. We are at about 110. We don't have really a wait list, and it's kindergarten through 12th grade. So basically, any family that wants to join our school, we give them a diagnostic test first, and we see what grade level they will be at, and we place them on their grades. If, for example, they're coming from a public high school or public school, and they test in our diagnostic test, we use the ACE diagnostic test system. If, for example, they're in sixth grade, that they say they're in sixth grade, but their English is tested at fourth grade level, what we do is we give them the ACE curriculum, which is a self-paced curriculum. They complete the required booklets to get from fourth grade to sixth grade, basically. And that's how we do that.
Your school size. So I know you mentioned 110. Do you guys have room to grow and take on more students? You guys kind of at capacity at the moment?
Well, when we first started having our Christian school, we were approved by the city for 250 students. We haven't been above that mark. Basically, 100 is our area that we maxed out at so far. So we haven't really been going over that.
Okay. But the school could take in 250? Like, could you fit all those kids in there if you had that many?
We should be able to fit 250.
Okay. Okay.
Because they went to each room and they did the assessment for us. So.
Okay. Very good. Well, I think it's a perfect segue into the first few questions I ask, which is challenges. I know you guys probably have some challenges as a school. I would love to hear some of the different ones, the different challenges you guys have and how you guys are combating those.
All right. Like I said earlier, some challenges we have is if we have people that come in from the public schools, and if they take the diagnostic test, they're not at the grade level that they should be. So our challenges is just basically trying to help them to get to their grade level. And on that part, since they have to do it on their own, sometimes they're not as motivated. So we just have opportunities like summer school that they can do to catch up. And we just continue to make sure they're doing their work, because if they don't do their work, they're not going to catch up.
Yeah. What other challenges you guys up against?
Other challenges, of course, since we are a Christian school, we want each student to have a Christ-like conviction, to be fully surrendered to God in every area, whether it's following rules, doing the school academics, just anything we can think of. And not only that, we also are having some challenges in helping our students to be critical thinkers. We want them to be able to, when they graduate, think critically and make the right decisions that God wants them to make. So those are our challenges, and that's what we're focusing on. Christ first, Christian education, and then the education with excellence. So our priority is Christian and then education.
All right. I love it. Well, I love asking this next one. This is going into where you get to brag about your school. So if you had a couple things you want to highlight, what are some things that are just going awesome for your school that you'd love to brag about and share with everybody? Okay,
well, a safe Christian learning environment is basically what that's what we promote mainly to our parents. We have smaller classrooms, so the teachers can monitor each student very closely. We also have extracurricular activities. We have sports programs that students can get involved in. We have fine arts competitions where we compete with other Baptist schools. And to God's glory, we went to one in Lancaster, California, and our school was able to get the most awards out of all the schools there. Even out of the one that hosted the competition, we had more academics, music, all to God's glory, speech, preaching, and that was one of our highlights this year.
That's awesome.
Yes,
That's
sir.
exciting. What else? Anything else going good you want to brag on?
Like I said, since we're a Christian school, we have an academic curriculum and it's centered on a biblical worldview, just so that students can make the right choices for God, whether they're going to go into the secular world, working sector, or even Christian. They just know how to have a sound mind using the Bible and living for God's glory.
Yeah, very good. Well, as we kind of, I told you, our podcast typically don't end up being too terribly long. As I kind of wrap it up with my last final question for you, what would be that one piece of advice you'd want to leave with other school leaders who are listening into the episode to this podcast?
Okay, definitely never give up on a student because you never know how God will use them. First, make sure that the student knows Jesus Christ, because if a student graduates from your school and they die and they don't have Christ, they'll end up going to hell. So that's one of our main things. We make sure that they get saved, they have a relationship with God, and we don't give up on them. We help them out with their academics so they can live for God's glory.
Okay, I love it. Not giving up on a kid. I can get behind that 100%. So I love it. Mark, I love that you took some time out of your day to be on this podcast and share some things that are going on with you guys there in Southern California. Wishing you guys nothing but the best. Hoping you're able to grow and meet that full capacity so you can just pour into more and more students that are there in Southern California. But obviously, thank you so much and wishing you guys nothing but the best.
All right. Thank you, Mitchell. It was a pleasure. God bless you.
Well, another huge shout out and a thank you to Mark for taking time out of his busy day to be on the podcast today. I had a great time talking with him, and I'm wishing him and his school nothing but the best as they continue to grow. And as always, I'm hoping you guys were able to take at least one thing from today's episode, take it back to your school to make it better than it is right now. And maybe your school's looking to grow enrollment or use technology to better talk to the families that are a part of your school or to get more families involved in your school. I'd love to chat with you and see how we can help you guys grow or use technology better. You can check us out online, schoolsuccessmakers.com. That's schoolsuccessmakers.com. Or we have a free private Facebook community you can find online. It is called School Success Makers. It's a private Facebook group. We'll love you to go in there. It's only for school leaders, so we'll see you in there and we can share feedback, get some tips, tricks from other school leaders that are out there. But I'd love to see you inside that Facebook community as well. We'll be back here next week with another awesome guest as usual on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then.